Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today I want to introduce you to a new acronym for what I would like to, moving forward, start using to describe what Dr. Sarno initially called TMS and what many people still call TMS. And I'm introducing PDP, Perceived Danger Pain. And I know the last thing we need is another acronym. We've got TMS, tension myositis syndrome, then called tension myoneural syndrome, then called the mind-body syndrome. I like to call TMS too much stress, or as my brother jokes, too much shit, right? Then we've got PPD, psychophysiologic pain disorder, right? We've got neuroplastic pain, which is one that seems to be used a lot these days. Dr. Schubner has been terming it neural circuit pain, basically because the brain can make a decision at any point to turn on pain, and it's using these neural circuits to fire off a signal that's interpreted as pain, so he's calling it that. I've heard it called, and I've used the word distraction pain, which kind of goes along with Sarno's theory of distraction. You know, there's even mainstream medicine who's not acknowledging Sarno's work, but they're now calling a lot of this stuff central sensitization. They've also called it fibromyalgia. They now call it chronic regional pain syndrome, CRPS. There's a lot of acronyms, medical labels, and even in the TMS community, there's a lot of different acronyms that describe what's going on. But as I really think about it, one of the challenges with TMS is that so many people say, well, I don't have back pain, so TMS does not apply to me because I've read Sarno's book and it's all about back pain. Or, you know, I've done all the emotional work and I've been to therapy, I've done the journaling, I've done all the emotional discovery work, and I still have pain, so maybe I don't have this thing called TMS, which is myopically focused on just the emotions. So, why am I calling it PDP, perceived danger pain? I mean, let's go back to the very foundation. What is pain? It's a warning signal. It is our brain and central nervous system's way of warning us that something dangerous is going on. You touch a hot stove. Your hand doesn't create the pain. You're touching metal. You know, and the brain is what turns on the pain signal to warn you to get your hand away from that hot stove so you don't melt your skin. Right? It's a warning signal based on the perceived danger of what's going on in the moment. And the brain is interpreting that, and the brain is forming an opinion as to whether or not there's danger. And if it believes there's danger, it will turn on those neural circuits that are perceived as pain to warn you. And it works like a charm. Right? So perceived danger pain, I think, is even a step higher than Dr. Sarno's theory of TMS. Right, because he talked about pain that's created to distract us from our overwhelming, negative, scary, and even perceived as dangerous negative emotions that are repressed in the subconscious. And as they start getting closer to consciousness, the brain utilizes pain to distract us from these emotions that the brain is perceiving as dangerous. So TMS fits within this PDP, perceived danger pain, because those emotions are perceived as dangerous. Now, once we have pain and we go into the medical process and we get a medical diagnosis, we've got medical labels, we've got imaging studies, we've got doctor's prognosis and diagnosis and medical labels and treatments and failed treatments and all that stuff, we can learn that many movements, body positions, these things are dangerous also. And the fear and the attention we give to the symptoms can cause them to become learned, right? That's where the neuroplasticity comes into play, but it doesn't explain things like, well, why do I get a new pain somewhere else, right? Perceived dangers. And unfortunately, when you have a system that is hypervigilant, hypersensitive, a hypervigilant brain is always going to find danger, even imagined danger, right? Let that sink in. A hypervigilant brain and nervous system is always going to perceive danger, even imagined or perceived danger. So I really like the perceived danger pain because, I mean, even Lorimer Moseley, the pain scientist from Australia, he said the purpose of pain is to protect us from something the brain perceives as dangerous. And look, in many cases, these perceived dangers are real. You get a little nick on your finger, you scratch it somehow, not much danger, not much pain. You halfway cut your finger off with the butcher knife in the kitchen, lots of danger, your finger's dangling, lots of pain. Perceived danger makes the difference. Pain is not a reliable indicator of the condition of the body, but it is a very reliable indicator as to your brain's perception or opinion of the amount of danger, right? You guys have heard that story. The construction worker who jumped off the scaffolding and the nail went through his boot, right? Freaking out with pain. Perceived danger, sky high, right? But once they cut the boot off and realized that the nail was between his toes, no more danger, no more perception of danger. Where'd the pain go? Disappeared in a heartbeat. Perception of danger, perceived danger pain. I think that describes what's going on even better than TMS, because tension myositis syndrome, tension myoneural syndrome, even the mind-body syndrome, they're not very instructive as to what's going on. Perceived danger pain is very instructive because anytime you have a new symptom or a current symptom that is rising in intensity, perceived danger pain, when you start to look at that language and that terminology, it's pointing you in the right direction. You go, what's going on? Oh, I just bent over and I've had 10, 12, 13 years worth of back pain. So my brain is still perceiving that bending over is dangerous. Therefore, it's turning on the pain very reliably. Other people have pelvic pain, sitting pain. Chairs are dangerous. The perceived danger is sitting in a chair. Anytime you sit down, the brain's perceiving that. And what's it doing? It's using pain to warn you to get up because it's perceiving that you've got some type of issue down there that's causing the pain. Back pain, leg pain, knee pain, whatever it may be, if the brain is perceiving that walking is dangerous because you've got a quote-unquote bad knee that's been hurting you for years, the perceived danger of walking is the challenge. And when we teach the brain that we're really not in danger, that there's really nothing wrong with our body, and we do that consistently, repetitively, without freaking out, and so that the constant dominant message is, I'm actually okay, and the brain learns that we're actually safe, the perceived danger comes down. And when the perceived danger comes down, so does the pain. So the key here is not to fix anything, to heal anything. It's to properly instruct the brain and teach the brain that these perceived dangers are just perceptions, but they're false perceptions. That it's literally an incorrect or a misinterpretation of normal things going on in life. Bending over is a normal thing. It's not dangerous. But if the brain has learned through past experience that those things hurt, it makes the connection. Bending over is dangerous. Sitting is dangerous. Walking is dangerous with a bad knee. Walking is dangerous if your feet have hurt. Right? Perceived danger pain. I think that's an all-encompassing thing. Right? So, I think I just really want to introduce that concept, PDP. And I'm going to probably start using it more because so many people hear about TMS, then they go look at it and they go, ooh, back pain. That's what Sarna's books are about. That's not me. I've got something else. I got migraines. Or I've got, gastric distress. It must not be me. Right? Perceived danger, foods, chemical sensitivities, danger, pain, discomfort, gastric distress. Perceived danger is really the driving force, in my opinion, behind all this kind of stuff. So, I'd love your feedback. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Does this make sense to you? Because it's not just back pain. It's not just the emotional dangers that Sarno originally talked about. Yes, he's on point. Absolutely. Because many of us, our pain started through emotional phenomenon. Crazy stressful times, fear, self-belief, self-image, perfectionism, abandonment, you name it. Grief, sadness, rage. Sarna was on point, definitely on point. But I think chronic pain expands beyond just the emotional causes, because not everybody with chronic pain started with, crazy stress and emotional chaos in their life. Some people, chronic pain started with a true injury that they freaked out about, they believed would never heal properly. They had too much fear and focus on the symptom, on the pain, and the brain learned it, right? They perceived that I have an injury that hasn't healed, and they focus on it, and they've created that sense or perception of danger because they've convinced themselves it didn't heal right, or it won't heal right, or the injury's too significant. So I really wanted to take this analogy for chronic pain and take it up one level above TMS. Not to say I'm any smarter than Sarno. I mean, he was the original, the original guy who figured this stuff out. I just really want to expand TMS beyond back pain, beyond emotionally stress-induced pain, and take it up one step higher and just say, at least in my opinion, pain is based on perceived danger. It always is, it always has been, it always will be. And so that I think it's more instructive to look at perceived danger as the cause. The danger can be emotional, stress, work stress, self-image issues, perfectionism, could be relationship stress, family stress, could be, you name it. All of these things can be perceived dangers. Movement, body position, sitting, standing, walking, running, bicycle riding, right? These are all potentially perceived dangers. The goal is to, with consistency, teach your brain that these things are not in fact real dangers. They're misinterpretations of dangers. And once you get the message through to the brain, through consistency, the brain can dial down the system and turn down or off the pain, or the other symptoms for that matter, when there is no longer perceived danger. Hope that makes sense. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this PDP, perceived danger pain, or PDS, perceived danger symptoms, because even things like, gastric distress, bloating, gas, constipation, loose bowels, those things, reflux, not always pain, but perceived danger symptoms or perceived danger pain. I'd like to get some feedback on this, because I think it takes it one step higher and encompasses more than just TMS, which is really, from Sarna's original work, mostly focused on the emotional need for distraction, and not necessarily the higher level, which is the purpose of pain in general, which is perception of danger. So, love you guys and gals. Let me know what you think of this. And when you notice your symptoms changing, going up, or a new symptom coming on, could very well be that your hypersensitive nervous system and hypervigilant brain is just finding danger everywhere it looks, because it's just so cranked up high. The sensitivity, the receivers in the brain are just so amplified that it's seeing danger everywhere, and that can account for new symptoms showing up that weren't there yesterday. So the goal here is to dial down the entire system through messages, consistent messages of safety, to bring down those danger signals so that the brain can make a different decision and no longer turn on the pain, because you're no longer seeing everything as dangerous. So I hope that makes sense. Love you guys and gals. Let me know what you think. Comment below. And we'll catch you guys later. Love you.